if the husband fails to forgive her,
Yeah.
she should move on.
She already has the belief that the husband finding out the truth is going to probably lead to one or two things.
The mess she is in now is self-inflicted.
Now, this is a very interesting story about a lady who's been married with 5 kids. 5 kids. But along the line, during the course of her marriage, she spent a particular night outside with a friend of hers, a lady actually. She actually went out with a friend of hers and didn't come back home that night. And the husband has been on her case, accusing her of infidelity, of sleeping out, of probably having an affair with a man that particular night. So she's been confronting the husband about it, that she's not in any relationship or she never had an affair. So the husband took the matter to their church pastor, who is a very senior minister of the gospel in Nigeria. Now, the pastor now invited the lady to his office and asked her to confide in him and tell him the truth. After much persuasion, the lady gave in and told the pastor the truth and said, actually, pastor, I'm telling you this in confidence because this is like a counseling session where whatever I disclose to you is confidential. I actually went out with my female friend quite all right, but we met with an ex-classmate of ours who probably I had something to do with in the past, and that's rekindled what we shared, and we had intimacy that night. And I couldn't come back home after the whole sequence of events that happened that particular night. It ran very late into the night, so that's just why I couldn't come back home. But I can't tell my husband this, because if I tell him this, all hell will be let loose. It might lead to the end of this marriage. So the pastor told her something. He said, okay, don't worry yourself. I will manage your husband's emotions, but don't tell your husband what you just told me. So she said, thank you, sir. And she stepped out of the pastor's office. Then the husband was invited into the pastor's office immediately after she left. So the pastor spoke to the husband. She's not privy to the information the pastor shared with the husband. But immediately the husband came out of the pastor's office, a new husband came out. A new husband, the husband of when she was dating the man before they even got married, all of a sudden appeared. He became super sweet, super nice, super caring, super there. All right. So she started enjoying a marriage like she just fell in love afresh. Now, very recently, a couple of months ago, the pastor invited her to the office. I wanted to discuss something very important with her. Immediately she stepped into the office, the pastor told her, said, Madam, I would like you to understand one thing, that in this entire church, you are one of the most beautiful women in this church. That even a blind man would fall in love with you. That's to make you understand how beautiful you are. And I'm a man flowing with just flesh and blood flowing in my bones. All right, so I've also fallen in love with you. But what I want is not for you to leave your husband and marry me. No. What I want from you is for us to have an affair where I'll meet all the shortcomings in your family. For instance, for a start, I would buy you a car and I will give you a huge amount of money to do something of your pleasing. Now, hearing this, the woman got offended. This lady got offended. Like, why would you say something like this? I've only cheated on my husband once since we got married. Now, you want me to now have a constant affair with you, who was the one who counseled us in the first place and made my marriage a bliss again. So she stormed out of the office rather. And since then, she stopped coming to the church. Now, the husband and other members of the church has been on a case asking, where have you been? You're backsliding. She just refused to go back. Now, the reason why she refused going back to the church was because after she left the office, the pastor sent her a message saying, if you don't give into my proposal, I would invite your husband back into my office and tell him the truth. Whether he's bluffing or not, the woman is not, she's not willing to take that risk because she's not sure whether the pastor has recording of their conversation for her to deny it if this information comes in front of the husband. But she's at a crossroad right now. She has still not resumed going to the church, and she has not told her husband what she's going through, and she's not about to give into the relationship the pastor is asking from her. All right, so she needs your help. It's up to you now to leave your comments in the comment section and let us know what you think and how best you think she can approach this very, very trying issue. I would say these are trying times for her, serious trying times for her, because right now she has to make up her mind pretty fast before things get out of hand. I'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Share with Noble, and my name is Valentine Agogo, and I'm here on set with Mr. Gray Amona. You're welcome, sir.
Appreciate it.
And Comrade Monday Ike Ojoma. You're welcome, sir.
It's a pleasure to be
All right,
here.
good to have you on set again.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so you heard the opening story. So let me start with Mr. Gray Amona.
Okay.
What do you think she should do in this very critical case?
The two dramatic persons in the story are the woman and the pastor.
Okay.
The woman is singularly irresponsible. Singularly, it's no matter. No wonder a thick cloud of doubt about her moral life, centering on the husband. Then the pastor is, I would say, a contemporary. The pastor represents some kind of evidence of how and why people doubt the sanctity of the church, the contemporary church, because the pastor is also another singular disgrace, to the pulpit. Now, it's put glibly. See, you went out and you don't know what happened. Met how you're telling what kind of story? What kind of story is that? A glib story about immorality and irresponsibility. That's on the part of the woman.
Of the woman. And
then a situation where a man of God is supposed to be a soothing balm, it turned out to be sheer treachery, because there are two things now: blackmail. The woman has no choice than to, first of all, because she's confronted with the situation of the pastor revealing what they did.
Yes, the husband.
But it would be hypocritical for anybody to simply close the lid, to look the other way with regard to her fundamental mistake. Because she placed herself in this situation.
Position, yes.
She has made a mincemeat of marriage. Marriage will still survive despite the cynicism of today's generation. Because somehow today's generation, I don't know this, we call them avant-garde, or the counterculture generation, or the, what do they call them, the modern generation.
Yeah.
There appears to be a certain cynical attitude to marriage. It will survive. And people like that woman, you see, she is in a self-inflicted mess. The mess she is in now is self-inflicted, because she has been loose, and the evidence of looseness is there. So the pastor capitalized on that that frailty that she exhibited. So in a sense, one has every cause to sympathize with the husband, because look at the story. When the husband went for counseling, he came out and the behavior showed someone that was ready to forgive. You understand? But then along the line, the real overhanging evidence of treachery came out into the open. That is a pastor. So right now, being caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, self-inflicted devil and deep blue sea, the only option she has is first of all to go back to the husband and confess their guilt. Confess her guilt so that at the end of the day, because number one, there's no evidence that the pastor will come up with a kind of videographic evidence that will compromise her. So that's how I see it.
Okay, so Comrade Ojoma, what do you think about this situation? Is there any other way out, or is a concluded case?
Yeah, in this era of technologies, there is nothing that is impossible. If the woman is smart enough, there are several options. This is not time for blaming now, because the woman has already erred. She has erred. No matter what She is not even asking for condemnation or forgiveness. She's not asking for way out. Now,
From this new devil.
As we deflect.
Yes, there are several options left for her. First of all, is to avoid anything that has to do with the man
And the church.
call the bluff. Avoid the church, avoid the man, ignore him. But you don't know if the man, his next step of action. Secondly, he has another option to open up to the husband. This is what I am passing through. This is the predicament. This is the true stand. If you open up to the husband actually loves her, he can forgive.
So you mean she should tell him the truth about
What
that
is
what happened
going
that
on
particular night, and how she told the pastor,
and how the pastor is using
covered up.
blackmail her. That's the second option. Then the third option is to play a smart one. They say the best form of attack, the best form of defense is to attack. You play the smart one on try to agree with the pastor, set the pastor up, get people around to witness, can go to the hotel, get people around the hotel to come catch the pastor red-handed, wanting to do the thing with her. And she can totally deny knowledge of what, because pastor will definitely come up with this was what happened. You can deny the knowledge of that, even if it is recorded. We see how recorded tapes are doctored these days.
Okay, even if it's recorded, she can deny it and say it's doctored.
The pastor might be funny, might have recorded the conversation.
Yeah.
She can deny it. I'm sure they will not go to the extent of going for voice test.
Testing to confirm if it's doctored or original.
Even when we've seen a lot of cases in politics, Nigerian political scenario today, where someone will do something, tomorrow you come and say, no, it is not me, it was doctored, it was I've seen a lot of cases like that. So everybody can still believe that killer was actually doctored tape. So this has all these options open for her. She should not give up. She should not.
So do you think that if she opens up and tells the husband, your second option now, which is to open up and tell the husband the truth, she already has the belief that the husband finding out the truth is going to probably lead to one or two things. Hell letting loose, that she may not to recover in that marriage, there might be no more peace and love, or the marriage coming to an end. Those are the two things that she's even scared of, which means that tells us the disposition of the man, to know that he's a no-nonsense person and he might not be so forgiving. Do you think that's an option she should still explore?
The Bible says the soul that sinneth shall die. So she has broken the edge. The serpent is now biting. She will bear the consequences of her action, her immoral act. That's the penalty she will.
Isn't that too extreme and condemning?
If the husband fails to forgive her,
yeah,
she move on. At least she has 5 kids for the husband. Well, there are a lot of women that are not married today. She will bear the consequences of her immoral act and move on. But if the husband forgives her, fine and okay, it's 50-50. The husband can forgive. Some men will, after going through all this, they will still forgive and go ahead with the marriage, continue with the marriage. Some will outrightly divorce her. But it's better than yielding to the pastor's demand.
Mr. Gray.
Yes, I was even coming to that.
She said, before you address that, yes, she also mentioned that that she needed a car. Her husband has promised her a car that is yet to deliver, to fulfill. And now here is a brand new car on the table as an offer for her to just have an affair with the pastor and money. And also, she also mentioned that this pastor is a very senior pastor at the rank of almost, how will I put it now, an assistant general overseer in a very big ministry in Nigeria. We're not going to disclose the identity of the church, all right? So she's also concerned about the scandal if she goes public with this information. That's why she's trying as much as possible to manage the situation. So you could add that to what you wanted to say.
No, what I wanted to say was that the fact that she did not give in to the irresponsible demand of the randy pastor, might open a new chapter in her relationship with the husband. You understand? That might, I'm using the word.
Okay. So she can also present that, as a card on the table.
Actually, if she gave in, in a reckless moment, but later, came back to rebuff the demand. Because she could have, she ordinarily could have caved in. It's very to a demand that has, that dangles a carrot in its face.
Yeah.
That is a vehicle, brand new vehicle.
And the money is
exactly.
accompanied.
You see, who said it? Who said it? My colleague Lawrence Obeo. He said, "See money, see debt." You understand? See a lot of dollars. See a python's head waiting for you to touch the dollar. If you touch it, then your hand goes. It's a very sneaky, situation. But let's put it this way: the size of the church need not, be a problem. Then the nature of the carrot being dangled, the car, need not be a problem. If she, owns up, if she actually summons the courage and goes back to the man, I misbehaved. I'm sorry about it, but this is what actually happened. And he took advantage of that situation in trying to counsel me. This is what happened.
Yeah.
Yes, we might have a picture of the man being a no-nonsense moralist and all that. But a no-nonsense moralist, when confronted with a confessional by a supposedly remorseful mind, that iron in the man might turn to flowers.
Okay.
Because yes, you went to misbehave outside, but confronted with a more embarrassing and glaring case of misbehavior, spiced up with temptation, you resisted. That might depress the man. So I buy up Joma's idea of going back to the man, say the truth, because at the end of the day, your wife could have been your blood sister. Understand me?
Yeah.
When we say your wife could have been your blood sister, there is something about the marital bond that whenever there is a case of a flaw or an embarrassment, that residual feeling of love might propel the aggrieved to quickly forgive things, so that they now turn the searchlight on the pastor. Because let me tell you, Valentine, the pastor already, the pastor has murdered sleep. Has murdered sleep by revealing to his own parishioner that he is in love with the parishioner. There's a standard we have not even addressed. The standard is the assault on the status and dignity of a clergyman, and by extension, the sanctity of the word of God. So who's supposed to disseminate the word of God to save souls? They're saying you are falling in love, romantic love with the parishioner. If that is brought to the center, the man who is fundamentally aggrieved might not say, okay, my wife, that's I'm just supposing my wife, I forgive you for that. But this is what the pastor said, and he invited me, pretending to be intervening. And so the pastor has a case with God fundamentally, and I doubt if God will smile on someone who singularly pursues adulterous intention.
Okay. One final word from you.
My final word is that she should summon courage, bear the consequences, pray to God, look for neighbors, look for friends, look for relatives of the man. No matter how difficult, no matter how hard, no matter how dangerous a man is, there is always somebody that he listens to. Look for such a person.
Okay, for the husband.
The husband, go and talk to your husband. The alternative, you can still go to the pastor, go back to the pastor, record your conversation with him. The pastor
when you were refusing
his advances.
Okay.
And that will give you edge. The pastor has more to lose than you. The pastor has his integrity, he has his personality, he has his position in the church, which he loves.
Because there are a lot of ladies out there who might be going through similar pressures from their leaders, probably in church or in a religious organization. So that is also an edge to use against them.
Yes.
Just go to them while they are making advances. You record the entire conversation. Probably send it back to them.
Yes.
And when they see that, of course, they will have to stay. But what if the person now decides to fight back and counter-sends another one of their own conversation with her?
You can also, there are ways to catch such pastor, agree to his demands, set the scenario up. We've seen a lot of people they set up like that. How will the pastor feel when he opens the door of the room of the hotel to see his church members inside the hotel?
Sorry to come in. That can even inflame, the kind of the possibilities
Okay.
against the pastor.
Exactly.
That is, if she could, summon courage, own up, and tell the man, okay, dear, let us now, tell this man that he has actually crossed the boundary. You remember a story in the Bible, one of those kings, after he actually, violated, by killing an Israelite. So that was Agag, the Amalekite king. When he now came back to David gravely, he now confronted David. So surely the bitterness of death is past. David now put him aside and used a sword on him. So she and her darling is her darling. Human nature is there. The marriage is still there. The sanctity of feeling can translate to and correspond to the sanctity of marriage. Let us now deal with this man. They will now go back and I buy German's idea, set the pastor up, and then because someone, you see, it is not easy to take holy orders. To take holy orders is a responsibility to humanity, because the entire humanity is the province of our creator. God created the entire humanity. So when you take holy orders, you must live up to the responsibility. It's an unforgivable offense to descend to the to carnal level and seek romantic pursuits with a parishioner. Let her go back, beg the husband, and then the two of them
Address.
can set up
and tag team the pastor.
Yeah.
Give
a lesson.
And give him Royal Rumble.
Exactly.
But apparently, the pastor must have been doing it, or will still do it to some other persons.
Yes, there's a possibility that I could have been doing it for now. She's not the first. All right. Well, we're not here to pass judgment on anyone. We're just analyzing the story as we deem it fit. But please, it's up to you out there to let us know what you think and who is in the wrong here, and how you would advise the woman to address the issues. Like my panelists here, they've also done their best in addressing the issue. Please don't forget to like, share, of course, to drop your comments and subscribe. And also, please do click on the notification button to get similar prompt updates on Share with Noble.